If you manage a team, you know the struggle of getting everyone on the exact same page. We constantly look for mental models or shared vocabulary to get all those individual gears clicking together at once. That brings us to the Gridiron Lexicon. It's a collection of 40 specific football idioms built precisely to formalize team habits and strategy. The appeal here is efficiency. These phrases take complex behavioral expectations, like maintaining discipline under pressure or prioritizing team over self, and compress them into short, highly evocative mantras. But there is a massive catch. Adopting a highly specific sports vernacular creates a tight-knit insider culture for those who know the code, while inherently risking confusion or alienation for anyone who doesn't. This quadrant chart maps that tension. The y-axis is cultural alignment. The x-axis is communication friction. In the bottom left, plain English has low friction, but low cultural stickiness. In the top right, gridiron jargon builds high alignment, but creates dangerously high communication friction. Deciding to implement these 40 idioms is a choice about where you want to sit on that graph. It forces a strategic trade-off between metaphorical impact and immediate clarity. Let's break this lexicon down, starting with the foundation idioms. These are built for practice, setting standards, and establishing baseline habits early on. This group includes phrases like football chalk to thunder, which means doing the heavy prep work before the big moment, or football stitch the line, a cue to keep your team shape tight and connected. This table breaks down the foundation group, with idiom, plain English, and optimal scenario columns. Dropping these terms during onboarding sets an immediate cultural standard, but they require heavy upfront explanation and hold zero meaning to external partners. Take football huddle of hard truths. It formalizes negative feedback, forcing a team to face mistakes fast and fix them without pointing fingers. If your environment lacks genuine psychological safety, calling a huddle of hard truths will feel deeply artificial. The phrase can't magically create trust if the groundwork isn't there. Foundation idioms are excellent for building strong internal walls, but by definition, strong internal walls create high barriers to entry for anyone outside the immediate team. Next, we have the execution idioms. These are tight, short phrases built for fast calls and split-second choices. We're talking about rapid two-word cues. Football quick snap tells the team to start fast without delay. Football turf talk demands quick words that settle roles before an operation begins. Updating our table to the execution group, we see short bursts replace entire sentences. The massive upside is operational speed, bypassing long explanations during a crisis. The trade-off? Margin for error drops to zero if one member forgets the cue. Look at football pocket check, a mandate to scan for pressure before a turn. Once drilled, yelling pocket check builds reflexive situational awareness faster than saying, make sure you look behind you before proceeding. While powerful, these specific cues are hyper-specialized. They are almost entirely useless outside of time-sensitive or intense operational tasks. Execution idioms force a clear choice. You are actively trading approachability for absolute, uncompromising speed. Finally, we land on the strategic group. These are full phrases meant for larger lessons, project reviews, and postmortems. These are your long-form maxims. Phrases like trust the route when the wind shifts to maintain the plan during changing conditions, or leave the ego at the locker door to put team goals above personal pride. Let's bring up the final data comparison showing the strategic group against standard language. These phrases provide sturdy anchoring principles, working well for long-term planning and reviews, but their length is a liability. They are too wordy for daily active use. The cultural risk here is delusion. Overusing these long phrases makes a leader sound like a cliché motivational poster, rather than someone providing actionable direction. Often, the plain English equivalents, like let's stick to the brief or prioritize the team, are safer, even if they lack the dramatic flair of the lexicon. Strategic idioms are designed for setting the compass during quiet moments. They are not built for steering the ship during a storm. Having access to this 40-phrase lexicon is useless without a filter. To get the value, you have to know precisely who should apply it and when. This decision flowchart shows which lexicon to adopt based on environment. The first node asks, high-speed execution or strategic planning. High-stress operators take path A directly to short cues.
For strategic planning, move to Node 2, internal or client-facing. Internal leaders take path C, using foundation and strategic idioms to build identity. Client-facing teams take path D, sticking strictly to plain English to avoid friction. If you're that high-stress operator, you have to willingly accept the upfront cost of training your team on these terms right now, so you can win the clock bite and save crucial seconds later. For the corporate leader, use a long idiom selectively to align your department, but explicitly avoid using daily jargon so you don't sound like you're cosplaying a football coach. And if you're networking or talking to clients, be warned. Forcing a phrase like football goal hush into casual conversation has a near 100% chance of creating awkward social friction. Jargon is a specialized tool, not a substitute for actual leadership. Adopt only the idioms that solve a communication bottleneck and discard the rest.